Hey everyone, here is Anis Alomar from the Business of Archviz. In the last 3 days, we have made the MasterMind, the Business of Archviz, and we went through all the business model of an Archviz artist and how to structure it, the 9 parts, how to look to our clients, how to look to our competitors, how to analyze them, how to see what is the entry to the minds of the clients. And in that mastermind, I had 3 guests. One of them is Matteo Ferrari. He is the founder of Forma Studio in Italy, in Genoa. And this interview is just to hear his feedback about his experience throughout the 3 days. Uh, what is his feedback about what went well, what needs to be improved. In case you are thinking about joining for the next mastermind, please listen to this feedback. If this fits what you are thinking about, let me know. This mastermind is just for the business development of Archviz. Thank you. Matteo, thank you very much for attending. Thank you very much for the engagement, for sharing experiences. That was a really insightful mastermind, not only for you and others, also for me. This is just a quick feedback from your side. I would say, you remember when I told you about the mastermind?
Yeah.
The first I told you there is a mastermind about the business model of the Archviz artist, your competitors, your clients, all of that. At that moment, you had some sort of expectations, and now you came here. At a first sight, do you think you had the same expectations? Do you think that the expectations are fulfilled?
I think so. The most probably one of the I think I have that. One of the thing that I was prepared was the over concept. The trying to understand and strategize progress for the business, and how to make it grow and how to make it fit what I have in my mind. What I wasn't expecting was the amount of information that we had during the course. That I think it was very detailed, especially in specific areas, was very, very comprehensive, and it gives you a lot of food for thoughts. So I think this mastermind, probably the biggest value I get out of the mastermind itself is not just what we did in 3 days, but is more of what the mind is more of a foundation of what it can be built during the months and years to come. So it is very dense of information and very condensed of things, and I don't think it would be possible like in less than 3 days, most probably. And having this in person also is quite cool because you get to share a lot more than being online.
Yeah.
Everyone is online and it's fine, but being in person is definitely a different story. So
Great, amazing. If you would go back before even I tell you about the mastermind, have you considered such masterminds or courses about the business side?
I actually did. I never attended one, not because I didn't want to, but because I never felt I was the right fit for the mastermind. I checked many business-related coaching sessions. I've checked mindset, pure mindset sessions, but I never felt it was towards my own business. And finding something that is exact for the niche that we're working on, it wasn't easy. It definitely wasn't easy. So when you mentioned the master, I remember vividly the conversation we had. But when you mentioned that, it was like, that makes sense. That's perfect sense because it is about the industry, and it's not that common to find something,
especially in our industry. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
If you describe the feelings you had the first day, second day, and today, the third day, if you would go through them, in the beginning, it was a little bit of theory. Then we went into details about your business, especially your clients, all of that. How would you describe the feelings from the first day, second day? Like when you come to something, you have something in mind. and you went into it, was it like exciting, like overwhelming? That's not for me. If you don't mind.
I think in the first day it was very very theoretical topics. Nothing against that, because I mean we still need theory. We most of, and this is personal experience. I don't know many other studios, but from personal experience, a lot of the things we do, we learn by ourselves, and learning things by ourselves without an actual structure or some sort of guidance, it's not easy. So the first day was very based on theory, and maybe wasn't the most exciting day, but at the same time was something that we definitely needed for second day and third day. Second day was more towards the business, so it was pretty exciting to get an outside look and more an in-depth look at the Forma and what we're doing and things. And the third day was a little bit overwhelming, because you kind of get to a point where you lay all the bricks with the wall, but the wall looks so tall. It's like you keep looking up, It's like it's never ending, because it feels like every piece of action we do is a brick. So we need to lay all of them, obviously, to build something. And having an overview of what you have to do to get all the wall built, it feels overwhelming at times. But at the same time, action comes from actions. So you definitely need to move something to get moving. So yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much for this feedback. We did an interview yesterday about your business, and you mentioned your history, your journey, how you evolved throughout the years, and you are in a specific place in your business. If you would describe who could be really a good fit for this mastermind, I mean, where should they be in the business? Because we discussed that. I mean, it's not for everyone.
Yeah. I think this is actually a question that might cut a lot of the people from attending the mastermind, but it's definitely not for everyone, and it's definitely only for people that are looking to grow the business, but not in the short term. This is, business related work, it's a long term work and job. So if people that wants to attend the mastermind are looking for quick and easy fix, something that would help you speed up your work in a month time, probably this is not for you. If you are looking to grow your studio, your business, your company, your freelance work, because I think that everything we said today is absolutely fine for freelancers as well, one-man band. And I really believe that it's all about what you're planning to do in the next few years. So if you're looking for something that would give you a foundation, will give you a structure, will give you a little bit more of a direction, maybe, I definitely think this could be a great fit.
Perfect. If you would describe the biggest three things you think that the three benefits you've got from this mastermind, what would you describe?
Probably the first one would be clarity in general. I'm not saying clarity in more specific element, like the growth that I want to go through. It's more on the clarity of the business itself. So where I'm at now, where I can go in the next year. So that probably is the first one. The second one, more on the downside. So where I am lacking the work. And again, this is very personal. Everyone has a different take on their own business, but as it's your own baby in a way, I know that I'm lacking on a lot of things that I'm not investing enough time on for multiple reasons. And maybe the last one, that probably to me it was actually even the first one, it would be the chance to share a lot of the experiences with other business owners that are in a similar situation than you, and that maybe went through something completely different, but in a way extremely similar. So it is, that probably was one of the biggest, thing for me, because it's not that common to actually be open to other competitors, because in a way we are competitors. But here makes perfect sense. Like literally sharing the ups and downs was absolutely phenomenal. You cannot do that very often otherwise. Yeah,
That's true. That's true. Yeah, amazing. And if you would name 3 things that should be improved in the next mastermind, I mean, one thing you have already mentioned to me, which is um, the first day, the theory. I think also I agree with you that should be somehow recorded, pre-recorded in a course, okay, and preparing people who are coming so that we can have more time to share experience.
yeah. I think that is probably goes back to the timing of things, because we had a few days where we obviously fitting everything at one day was really, really, really challenging. So we had to basically never take a break to finish things. And this is in a way, it's, if imagine that the first day you can go directly online, you can do that before joining.
Yeah.
You save one day.
That's
And
true.
saving one day, you save literally 8 hours that you can split into, and it makes the whole thing a little bit more relaxed, because you kind of have to run to get all the 9 parts done. And if you don't do one, the next one wouldn't make sense.
Yeah,
so probably the timing is the one that I would restructure in a way. We said that the first day probably is something that can directly be as a separate thing. And lastly, I don't know, in a way, I feel that we were 3. I think in a way that having more people would be nicer, but at the same time would be more time consuming to go through each other's business and understand and plan. So I think this is something that would be nice in a way, but very, very difficult to do on the other hand. So I don't really know if it's an actual doable thing or not.
Yeah, you are right. I mean, I thought about it as well. The thing is, if you imagine, I mean, the second day we talked about each one's business, and each one worked on the business. Then we went through each one's business. It was time. I mean, in case the first day is going to be online or as a preparation before coming, we might have more time and we can have more people. So we can share more. How doable it is, I don't really know. But
But I get that. I get that very well.
I mean, I do want to have. I mean, anyone who is coming, they should really get something personalized. They go back home with something they can do.
Yeah.
Maybe not 100% finished, but like at least something it's actionable. I would say, a step by step. And that was the goal of this mastermind. We achieved that with 3. I mean, even we didn't finish all businesses. I mean, we have only one business finished until the end. But in case we are maybe 5 or 6, it will be a little bit a challenge. Or maybe,
I mean, it will be a challenge. But again, probably another thing that I think connects well with this, the last day when we actually lay down the whole actions to do.
We streamlined. I mean,
I think that one is applicable to. I mean, at least today was applicable to all the businesses except few variations. So imagine that if that's already structured and you go through each point and you explain each point, but without thinking and trying to review things, that is probably another thing that would save you maybe half a day, where you can have that already structured and you go through that.
That's a good idea.
You don't have to make that from the top of your head there.
So you mean in case we run through each part on its own, and each one is going to think about that part plus the action plan, we get, for example, a baseline. Okay, and then they can prove it, delete, add based on the business specifics. That would be
because it kind of is applicable to all.
That's
at least today was applicable to all the businesses. So
That's true. That's true. Yeah. That's a very good point, actually.
it
Yeah.
might make sense to get more people to join because you already have a structure of a general business.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. I mean, I really thank you. Do you have any other point you would like to add?
Not really. I mean, it's been a very intense weekend, long weekend, but very rewarding as well. So I'm extremely happy that we managed to carve some time to actually do this because it was definitely worth it, 100% worth it.
Great, great. I mean, it is even the first mastermind.
Yeah, but being the first, I feel honored to be here. I genuinely feel honored to be here.
Amazing.
But it's been a very rewarding experience, 100%.
Amazing. One last word from you for someone who is thinking about joining. Yes, no. Is it worth it? Yes, no. Maybe a couple of thoughts from your side.
I think the first thing that pops in mind is to ask questions. Like literally, if they're in doubt and they might think that being part of a mastermind would be for them, I would literally ask them or tell them to get in touch with you because you are very open to conversation, especially for people that are willing to participate in this. And if I would have to say, people in my position, like you're running your own thing, you feel stuck, you don't know if you're growing, if you don't know if you're going in the right direction, this is probably the only thing in the industry that we have right now that's probably might give you the answers. So whoever is out there, I'm 100% confident this would be for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Matteo.
Pleasure.
And, it was a great pleasure. I would say I have enjoyed those 3 days a lot. And I must also give you some feedback. I know you for a while, okay? We talk a lot. However, in this mastermind, I literally knew many things about you. One is the tennis thing, okay? I didn't really know that before. And two is the change. In one day, you finished from the Second Part Academy to the UK and how you started your business there. That was for me really insightful.
Yeah. Thanks.
Great. Thank you very much.
A pleasure.
See you next year. Goodbye.
Ciao.